We arrived at the reception hall, brimming with excitement for the ceremony, but soon encountered an unexpected issue. There was a seat reserved for my husband, but none for me. I checked the area several times, but my seat was nowhere to be found. Just then, Mary approached. "Is everything okay?" "Mary, you arrived just in time. It seems there's no seat for me." Mary, with a half smile, replied, "No seat? That can't be right." "What do you mean?" I asked, taken aback. "I'm Sharon, a 34-year-old housewife. I've been married to Peter for 7 years, and after a long wait, we welcomed our adorable daughter last year. The experience of childbirth was challenging, but our little girl is worth every bit of it. Peter adores her too and makes it a point to come home at the same time each day. He's very involved in parenting, which has been a huge help. My dear, please give this to my niece." "Oh, you're here again? But my niece is just so adorable." "No," my younger brother, who often drops by our place, replied. "There's a 5-year age gap between Noel and me. Since our parents are no longer with us and we have no other relatives, it's just been us. Our parents divorced when we were young, largely because our father struggled with alcoholism and became violent towards our mother. She decided that divorce was the best option for our well-being despite the difficulties of raising 2 children on her own. Working 2 jobs to support us was no easy feat, but her hard work paid off, allowing Noel and me to build our own lives as adults. Unfortunately, the stress took a toll on her, and she passed away from cancer about 5 years ago. Despite everything, I like to think she found some comfort in knowing that her children were doing well. It meant a lot to me to be able to show her my wedding dress before she passed. We had always been there for each other, and our family bond was incredibly strong. Noel and I promised to live our lives as happily as possible in her honor, and now, living each day this way, I find true happiness." "Oh, that's a lovely apron." "Thank you. I guess I do have good taste," I replied with a grin. "Stop being so cheeky. Don't you have anything better to do on the weekend? How about going on a date or something?" I joked with my brother, only to receive an unexpected response. "Actually, I came here today because I have something to tell you." "Oh, what is it?" "Well, I'm thinking about getting married." "What?" I was taken aback. I had never expected this from my brother. It completely caught me off guard. "Can I come over next Saturday to introduce her to you and Peter?" "Of course. I'll check Peter's schedule too." "Thanks." After my brother left, I felt a surge of emotion. I had always looked after him at home while our mother worked, so my role felt more like that of a guardian than a sister. It's a momentous occasion for me to hear about my dear brother's upcoming wedding. I'm eagerly looking forward to Saturday. Since Peter has the day off, we'll be able to meet them together. On the day of the visit, I was full of anticipation, anxiously checking the time. "Sharon, you've been so restless. It's just Noel bringing his fiancé over, right? You're making me nervous." "Don't worry, Peter. I'm sure Noel isn't expecting me to be this anxious." "Maybe," Peter agreed, just as the doorbell rang. My brother and his fiancé arrived about 5 minutes later than planned, and my heartbeat quickened. When I opened the door, I saw a stunning woman standing beside my brother. "Hey, sis. Welcome. Why do you seem so nervous?" "Me? I'm not nervous at all." As I spoke with my brother, I noticed the woman he had brought along. She offered a warm introduction. "Hi, I'm Mary. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sharon, Noel's sister." After exchanging brief greetings, I showed them into the living room where my husband was waiting. He greeted them with a friendly smile. "I'll make some tea." "Oh, we brought some sweets. Let's enjoy them together." "Thank you. I'll prepare the tea and sweets." Once everything was ready, we gathered around the dining table to chat. Mary, who was quite beautiful and poised, looked a bit anxious, glancing around the room nervously. "So, how did you two meet?" "Through work." Mary was a receptionist at a client's office where I was working. My brother and Mary answered, both with a hint of blush. My husband chimed in, "Managing negotiations and finding a fiancé. Well done." "Peter, that's one way to put it," my brother said with a chuckle. I burst out laughing, and Mary joined in. Peter's comment eased the slight tension, making the atmosphere more relaxed. "By the way, Mary, how old are you?" "I turned 24 this year." "Oh, so you're 5 years younger than Noel, and a full decade younger than me. Do you plan to continue working after the wedding?" "Actually, no. I'm going to quit." "Really? It's quite common for women to keep working after marriage these days. That's a bit unusual." "I don't need to work since Noel has a stable job at a major company and my family is quite well off." Her true personality was starting to emerge, revealing a side different from my initial impression. "And you're not working right now, are you?" "No. I left my job after having my daughter, but I had been with the company for about 15 years. What? 15 years? How old are you now? I'm 34. Wait, so you're a high school graduate? Mary's expression suddenly became tense. Yes, that's right. Oh, a high school graduate, I noted, sensing a condescending tone. However, Noel quickly stepped in. Sharon started working right after high school for me. We discussed it before. Back then, we were struggling financially, and Sharon sacrificed a lot for me. Please don't look down on her. I wasn't looking down on her. I was just surprised because I haven't met anyone like that before. Noel's defense had created an awkward moment. I tried to ease the situation, saying, "It must seem unusual to you, Mary." Mary added, "Yes, exactly. I did mean it negatively. I was just taken aback." Noel seemed to accept this and responded, "Oh, okay, as long as that's the case." To shift the conversation, I asked, "Mary, what does your father do?" "My dad is the editor-in-chief of a publishing company called Double X," Mary said proudly. "Wait, that publishing company?" I noticed something but decided not to mention it to avoid further awkwardness. Mary clearly takes pride in her father's successful career and often boasts about it when discussing her family or home. Mary seemed genuinely pleased, almost smug. It even felt like her nose had grown a bit longer since she first arrived. Anyway, that's how the meeting to announce my brother's engagement concluded. After saying goodbye to Noel and Mary, I collapsed onto the sofa. I'm exhausted. You did great. I'll make some coffee, my husband said, gently rocking our daughter in his arms. Thanks. I just hope Noel will be okay, I said, watching as he carefully placed our daughter in the crib. Why do you think Mary might be a problem? She did seem a bit condescending. I hope they manage well. Well, Noel did address that pretty quickly, so hopefully that will be sorted out. Even as I said this, I couldn't shake my concern. Noel and Mary came from very different backgrounds, so their differing values might lead to misunderstandings, despite Noel's success. Ultimately, it's Noel's life, and he has to make his own decisions. As his sister, all I can do is support him from the sidelines. Several months later, Noel and Mary visited us again. What brings you here unexpectedly? We came to give you this today. What's this? Noel handed me a wedding invitation. Wow, you're finally having the ceremony. We're excited to be there. Of course, I wouldn't miss it. It's my dear brother's big day. As I started to get excited, Mary cut in. But you don't have any relatives to rely on, and you can't bring your baby to the wedding, can you? Her concern seemed genuine, but the way she said it felt more like, "Are you really coming?" "Oh, don't worry. We'll leave her with my mother-in-law." Mary's response was a disappointed murmur. "I see." "What's wrong, Mary? You seem off," Noel observed as Mary's demeanor shifted. "Do I? I'm just tired," she replied with a strained smile. "We've been rushing to get everything done because of our conflicting schedules." To lighten their load, I suggested, "Why don't you head home and get some rest? Thanks for the invitation." Honestly, I wasn't eager to spend more time with Mary, who clearly didn't like me. But since she was the woman Noel had chosen, I kept my reservations about their marriage to myself. When the wedding day arrived, my husband and I went to the venue. Seeing Noel look so handsome walking down the aisle with Mary brought me to tears. I had always cared for him like a mother, and I thought, "Mom, look at how grown Noel is." I imagined our mother watching from heaven, deeply moved by the ceremony. We headed to the reception, eager for the ceremony, but encountered an unexpected problem. While there was a seat for my husband, there wasn't one for me. I searched multiple times but couldn't find it, so I had to inform the venue staff. Despite their checks, they confirmed there was no seat reserved for me. Isn't it odd that the groom's sister's husband has a seat, but not the groom's sister? My husband questioned the staff. They showed us the seating chart provided by Mary and Noel. At that moment, Mary approached. "What's happening?" "Oh, Mary, you arrived just in time. It seems there's been a mistake, and I don't have a seat." Mary laughed and said, "A mistake? There was never a seat reserved for you." "What?" I was stunned by her words. "What do you mean?" I asked, but Mary's expression grew cold. "When Noel is with you, he's neglectful towards me and spends all his money on your niece." "That can't be true. Noel buys things for our daughter, but they're not extravagant or frequent." "That's not the issue. Your presence diminishes my happiness. Please leave." Mary glared at me with disdain. What a dreadful woman. Is it possible for someone to be so cruel based on misunderstandings? I hate that my dear brother is marrying someone like this. Just then, a man rushed over, exclaiming, "Hey, Mary, what's going on?" "Huh? Dad, why are you so panicked?" It was Mary's father, who also had some connections with me. You didn't say something rude to this lady, did you? Huh? This lady, she's the bothersome old hag interfering with my happy marriage. What? Apologize to her right now. What's wrong with you, Dad? I'd had enough of their arguing, so I turned to Mary's father and said plainly, Editor-in-Chief, I'd like to end my column with this week's issue. I am deeply sorry. She was disrespectful. We'll do whatever it takes to make amends. Please don't quit, Mary's father pleaded. Mary stood there, stunned. I had become quite popular after successfully losing weight and sharing my beauty tips on social media. Recently, I posted about post-maternity self-care routines, which gained significant attention. I had been writing an article for a magazine where Mary's father works as the chief editor. My articles had boosted the magazine's sales, and I had been a consistent contributor. I didn't realize Sharon's younger brother was my daughter's fiancé. Oh, you didn't attend the family gathering, did you? You said it wasn't necessary for just a sister. I am truly sorry. If I had known it was you, Sharon. You don't realize that your words only highlight your poor character, do you? Mary's father was left speechless, standing there, dumbstruck. Anyway, I'd like to discuss my column with your company formally at a later time. Goodbye. With that, I left the venue, and my husband followed, stating that if I wasn't staying, he wouldn't either. Suddenly, my brother Noel came rushing over. Wait, why are you two leaving? I explained the situation to him. What? That can't be. When I was at home, I saw a seating chart with Mary's and your names on it. Looks like Mary must have shown you a fake seating chart, I said. Upon realizing this, Noel's face flushed with anger. He stormed back into the reception hall and called off the engagement, declaring, I can't marry someone who treats my sister so poorly. Noel hadn't been splurging on his niece. It was Mary who was spending excessively. She bought anything she wanted, which seemed to be straining her finances. The extravagant wedding was only adding to the financial burden. Being blamed for spending on his niece wasn't fair to Noel. It was all Mary's doing. Noel announced to the guests that the event would now just be a regular dinner and then left. Afterward, there were disputes over the wedding costs, but I worked with Noel to address them. Although Noel ended up in a difficult position due to the breakup, the root cause was Mary's behavior. I decided to leverage my influence. I told Mary's father that if he'd agreed to cover all the costs, I would continue my column with the magazine. Mary's father agreed immediately, saying, Understood. Although Mary seemed reluctant, her father snapped, This is all your fault, and firmly insisted that she accept it. As a result, Noel was able to end his engagement with Mary without any personal loss or damage to his reputation. I continued my column with the magazine as promised, but I did report the incident to the publisher. Consequently, Mary's father was transferred to a different department and was no longer the editor-in-chief. Mary was disowned by her father and forced out of the house. With no access to funds and unable to shake her excessive spending habits, she was likely to face serious financial trouble, but that was her own doing, and I had no sympathy for her. Noel commented, Next time, I'll find someone who appreciates you as my sister. I replied, Just make sure you find someone who treats people well. Noel laughed and said, True, Mary was just an exception. While he comforted his niece, I was relieved that the situation was resolved and hoped Noel would find someone better in the future. As for me, I'll continue to focus on my family, working hard for my husband and daughter while wishing Noel the best.